So we'll do this is the call to order of the November 2nd, 2022 WCAC meeting. Seems like we have full attendance, so we definitely have quorum. First thing is prior meeting minutes, and I think I've got the latest here. Correct me if any of this is wrong, Susan, but April was sent to the town for posting. Sorry, was March also sent to the town for posting?
It's posted.
It's posted, good.
Yeah.
May, August, September, October. October should be approved here today. Did you circulate May, August, and September? I don't know if you had time to get to October.
I did, yeah. So I sent them all in an email last night, I think. So apologies for the kind of like 24-hour turnaround, but I was trying to get them all together so I didn't have to send piecemeal emails to you all.
Okay.
But
I think I had reviewed them before, but I might have you and I had a bunch of emails, so I might have missed that one.
Yeah, let's see. Well, if you want, I can show these, or if you think you want to take more time, we can certainly take another month to review.
This has been like kind of a backlog, so why don't we just why don't we scroll through them now and just take whatever time we need to and get up to date. So you can actually screen share if you want.
Okay, so let's see. Share screen. Okay, so many minutes. Here we go. Okay, so I was using track changes on these because I have made even some adjustments since I sent them last night. I was able to listen to the recording and fill in some of the blanks that I had originally had. So this meeting is one that me, John, and Anne, well, actually, Barbara and Laura were present at this meeting. They just were not members yet. So you all, everyone should vaguely remember this meeting, even though it was a few months ago. But anyway, so I've got all the different people who were here. And should I list Laura and Barbara as members of the public? They were definitely at this meeting.
Yeah, yep.
Okay. So Laura Payne, perspective member. And then Barbara, is it Morse? Is that, I'm sorry, Barbara.
Yeah, Morse, like Morse code.
Oh, great. All right. Okay, great. And then the other folks that were at that meeting were the proprietor from West Village Tavern, Chris Scarzi, who was talking about the ENS gas station, Honor Wiener, and Sally Satterwhite. Okay. So let's see. During that meeting, we did approve the April minutes, and Jeff Walton was leading this meeting to a certain extent. I think he kind of started out leading it, and then John, you were kind of co-leading at one point too. So you guys might remember this meeting by that dynamic. But at any rate, we were talking about Deborah Stark and the fact that she had recently passed away and the plans for a memorial. And talking about the second Deborah's across the way opening in May, which I think probably happened. I know it's open now. Let's see. We were talking about the Rideout Park situation, about the baseball team wanting to modify it and ultimately that not happening, and us liaising with Concord Rec. Can you guys read these okay? Do I need to amp up the font or anything? Let's see if I can.
I think it's okay.
Here we go. Now it's good for everybody. Okay. Let's see. Talking about the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail and Junction Park here. Membership outreach. I filled in a few details on Laura and Barbara. I hope that's okay. But when I was listening to the recording, I was like, oh, you guys give us a great overview of who you are. And that had not hit my radar while I was taking minutes that day. We voted unanimously to submit them as new members. Honor and Sally. Honor is interested in joining, but is just not ready. The timing isn't right for her. And Sally was a member of the public listening in to get info about the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail. At that point, we were still following the Complete Streets construction, awaiting that to start. We were working on the signs. Marcia was sharing with us a picture of the Dragonfly logo sign that is, I think, going to be appearing on the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail for wayfinding.
And his last name is F-A-V as in Victor.
Oh, gotcha.
E.
Okay. Super, thank you. Let's see, Todd Benjamin basically talked about the fact that the West Village Tavern was going to be opening in August. I don't think that's happened yet, but he said that it was going to open in August, so I'm not going to retroactively change that. And then Chris Scarzi was speaking about the ENS gas station possibly being used to create a rotary traffic circulation plan, kind of where Kenneth Dunn Square is right now. We had a bit of a back and forth with him about that. So that is what I captured from May.
Any other changes or comments? I'll move to a vote to accept the May 2022 meeting minutes as shown here. Need a second? Somebody's got a second.
I
You guys hear me?
second. I
Okay.
second.
Awesome.
And then all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. All right, so let's move on to I guess the next one's August, is that right?
Yes.
No.
August. So I'm now sharing August. Did you guys see that this switched over? It should say August 17th at the top.
Nope.
You
No.
don't see that. Okay, that just must mean I have to change how I'm sharing this. Hold on one second.
Stop sharing and then put up the new one.
Okay. Let's see here. Hold on. I'm having a hard time getting back to the full Zoom screen, and that's so weird. Oh wait, I see. Stop share. Okay. Okay, August. Do you guys see this now?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, let me turn on the changes going. Okay, so the folks that were at that meeting was all of us. Laura and Barbara were members at that point. Marcia was there. Sue, our fearless planning board liaison, was there, and Honor was there. This is how you spell her last name. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. We had some housekeeping up front because this was John's, I think, first meeting leading as chair himself. And I decided that I would try to be the clerk and take the minutes, which I am still firmly committed to. And John had asked about setting up a Google Drive. Marcia said we couldn't do that because of public meeting law. And let's see. We discussed that we had Google Slides that we were sharing with other committees. It's okay for them to be shared. They're in the public realm. And then Anne asked, can we make edits in the public meeting? I guess I put a note that we needed more context on this. I think the answer to that question is yes, right? As long as we're publicly discussing the slides, we can alter them. Okay, Marcia's saying yes. Awesome. Let's see. So we've got the initiative tracker, and we were talking about what should go on there. Rideout Park, I volunteered to follow up with Anna McCune, which I did in a subsequent meeting. Giroux, we were talking about that. Barbara pointed out that she had asked Marcia a question about Giroux, and I kind of ascribed this entire thing to Barbara mistakenly. So I've made that change. This was all of basically Marcia's update on Giroux, which is that Habitat for Humanity is going to be working on the affordable housing unit there. Let's see. Bruce Freeman Rail Trail extension. Marcia updated us on that. And let's see. The Assabet River Bridge. Let's see. Yeah, so there is a lot of information online about this project, and I did try to link it here a little bit further down in this blurb, but Marcia was talking about that the project is in the design stage. We have a Mass Trails grant. It's not as costly as other DOT projects, so we're hoping to get it built more quickly than some other bigger projects. 300 Baker Ave provided an easement to make it eligible for state funding. And that was also in their best interest to make their employees' lives easier. The wayfinding signage on Bruce Freeman Rail Trail. I guess this is Marcia giving us updates on the locations where those signs will be installed. So got that in here. The ComAv construction, this is complete streets. Maybe should I put in like in parentheses complete streets so that we're more, I don't know, detail oriented about what this is, because ComAv construction, I guess, could be anything.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's see. So Marcia was telling us about kind of like the process of what was happening there. National Grid kind of held things up. Then John asked, what should we do to show support for 13B? And then Marcia gave us a bit of an update there. Yeah. Anne showed us signs for the cultural district. And at that point, Anne was cleaning up the map that showed the placement of the signs and was providing it to Marcia, and Marcia was going to be sharing it with the Cultural District Committee at their next meeting, which she did. And then it got brought, I think, yeah, well, it was supposed to be brought forward to the select board. We made some liaison assignments. I committed to Concord Rec and Public Works. Anne's doing the Cultural District Committee, John, Economic Vitality, and Laura, Planning Board. And then Sue introduced herself as our Planning Board liaison.
I just have a comment about that. I don't think I agreed to do the planning board like full-time liaison. I just was going to go to that one meeting.
Right, that's right. She's gonna go to the one.
Okay.
And I went to that one meeting just to get clarification on the 13B project.
Okay.
But Barbara and I think decided, or like punted to the next meeting to commit to the liaisons. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we still say that should be a rotating liaison. That one. I think that's what we landed on in the last meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. But sorry, that's just a comment. That's actually not something we discussed at this meeting you're showing here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Move that then. So Laura attending next planning board meeting. Sue mentioned that the meetings are hybrid, and then Sue had a recommendation about the signs. This was actually one of the cultural district signs. So yeah, that was August. Oh, Sue has her hand raised.
Hi, Sue Felshen, 19 Sunnyside Lane, Planning Board Liaison. And that last little item, Kenneth Dunn is spelled without an E at the end.
Ooh, okay, thanks. I did not know that.
Well, I've walked past it a lot of years.
Okay,
feel like-
awesome.
I feel like Sue would be good, like Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah.
Any other changes, comments to the August meeting minutes? All right, so I'll move to approve the August 2022 WCAC meeting minutes. Need a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
That's unanimous. So let's do September.
Okay, let's see. Gonna look for September here. Sorry, I've got these saved on my work computer desktop.
You have to stop
Sharing.
share and reshare.
Yeah. Okay. So now September, right?
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay, so in September, we had all of us, Marcia, we had Steve Dukran and Justin Richardson, and also Sue. So this was the meeting where we had a lengthy presentation from Public Works, and I captured a lot of detail here, but I'll try to not dig into it too much as we review this. Okay, so we talked about reviewing the minutes, also talked about the initiative tracker. And this, definitely when I was reviewing this, I realized how important the minutes are in making sure that we continue moving forward and don't have a question about what we accomplished in the previous meeting. So I will definitely try to get these to you guys much quicker than I have in the past. Now that we're caught up, I think it'll be easy for me to just polish them off within like a week or so after the meeting takes place. So anyway, okay. We got an update about Complete Streets. Construction started in July 22. National Grid was the delay. Concord Municipal Light was installing light poles. The Shoba Bakery has made their connections. And then the town's contractor doing work, I think kind of like gets into the nitty gritty of Complete Streets after all these sort of ancillary things are done in preparation. So they describe this process of, I guess, drainage improvements, reclaiming the street, digging down, recompacting material, and then repaving. I think it's called in binder course. That's what I seemed to take away from the recording anyway. And then they were talking about a traffic management plan and where it would be on the website. I'm not certain that I have actually seen it there yet, but I've put a link here to where their site is, where it will be. And then we had a bunch of back and forth about how long was it going to take? How are they going to notify people of what's happening? They said they would do door hangers for a neighborhood meeting once the contractor was coming in. And then they talked about a schedule that entailed them probably, I think, they said finishing in early October for a phase 1 that involved, I think, an initial repaving, but not the second round of paving, just to kind of get it in shape so that the street could be plowed if necessary in winter. And then phase 2, which would entail the actual sidewalk work and the final paving process. That was going to be late spring or early summer of 2023. Let's see.
The
They
spelling of Ken,
described-
I was
Oh,
just
sorry,
gonna
go
say,
ahead.
I'm sorry, Kenneth Dunn Square, you need to correct the spelling here as well.
Again,
Um,
okay. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oops. Hold on. And Anne has her hand raised. Yeah, Anne, go ahead. Oh, you're on mute, sorry. Oh, Anne, you're on mute if you're talking to us.
I'm actually in San Francisco at a conference and I have to leave in 10 minutes. So
Oh, okay.
I just hope we can go through this and we could talk about the signage, which I hope, and this very successful meeting I had with Erin, the amazing public works person. And so just want to make sure we get to do that before I
Yeah.
have to sign out of the meeting.
Okay, well, I can try to speed this up a little bit then. So let's see. We had back and forth about why not start earlier in spring, et cetera. So lots of discussion about the timing of this work, and who knows, maybe the timing is even different now as we speak. But at any rate, let's see. Any other things we talked about? We talked about a rail trail crossing light being broken, and they explained about some parts challenges they were having and that they were going to try to get that fixed. Here's another Kenneth Dunn.
I think these minutes are a lot more detailed than they need to be, Susan.
Yeah.
So.
You're right. I think they are. I guess I wasn't sure what was important out of all of this. Like there was just a lot of back and forth, and I didn't want to, I don't know, offend anybody by cutting out some of the small things that maybe I thought were small, but other people didn't think were small. So that was the challenge I had. But anyway, okay, I will continue on. Let's see. So we talked about signage for the cultural district and the placement, those 4 places, and then suggested some alternative placement as well. Also some back and forth with the green thumbs about placement of signs in Junction Park. We moved to accept the sign proposal that Anne made with a note that we had kind of like an alternate location for a sign if it got kind of voted down by other stakeholders. Okay, and then we talked a bit about 13B, which I think John and I are going to talk more during this meeting about. And 13B is still stalled. And also using the space for recreation in the meantime, which I plan to follow up with Patrick Leary about. And I think that's kind of it. Marcia encouraged us to attend the meeting about the housing production plan. Everyone okay with these?
Further comments or changes? Move to approve the, I'll move to approve the September 2022 WCAC meeting minutes.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. So let's take a break from that and go to Anne's agenda item, and then we'll come back to it. And then we'll be done.
Oh, listen, I totally appreciate this. It's interesting being in San Francisco. And I think what we're doing is really important. I just wanted you to know our Google Slides have been updated at the last week of October. I was able with Erin McCloskey, who's the director of Public Works, Highways and Grounds. He really knows signage. He was very enthusiastic about working with us. He took me in his pickup truck and we went with the mock-up sign that Billy Crosby made. And we went and checked every of the 4 potential signage placements. If you want, I can go over. He made some changes that were excellent. And he also decided that we need to order 2 more signs after these 4 are first in. If you want, I can go through really quickly. I've sent to Marcia, and he also has it, the updated Google Slides that will be sent to the select board. We hope to get on, I believe, if not their November 7th, their meeting after that this
When
month.
did, Susan, I'm sorry, Anne, when did you send those? I didn't think I had seen them yet.
Don't see them. Oh, okay, I can, we have them all, and Erin really knows signage. She really gets it.
Right,
And if
but
you didn't get it, you didn't get them, we sent them to you and him at the end of October. I can show them where, I can show it to you right now if you want. I have it up on my screen.
no, that's not necessary. I will look for them.
I can send everyone it's the new link. It's the same link that we've been using for the past 2 years. It just says updated. The title of it is 10/25 updated West Concord quick ideas board, and it has the picture of the sign 10/25/2022 West Concord Junction cultural ideas. If you want me to share a screen, I can show everybody really quickly. Here it is.
I never received it, Anne, so please send it
You didn't
again.
receive it. I'll send it again to you. Aaron has it. They all have it. And Aaron really liked it. He was great. And it's pictures of him actually holding the sign. And that's him. He's a good model. That's him. He decided we should really put 2 on Kenneth Dunn, which I really agree. D-U-N-N without an E. Very good idea. Excellent. And then the other big idea was he's really good at not having too much signage clutter. He explained to me his idea was to replace the sign for the 2 Commonwealth Avenue Business District that's kind of eroding, to replace it with the West Concord Junction Cultural District, which is what it's called now today anyway. And that was his idea there. And then he had a really good idea about the bridge. Here, I'll show this one. We use an existing sign. He knows, right? Because this is what he does, right? And so he's been working for the town, I think 3 years now.
Yes.
He used to work in Maynard, and Maynard has been a cultural district, and he lives in Maynard now. And so he really gets how important the cultural districts are. So this is him suggesting where this would go, and it's great. It really reduces the signage clutter. And then his idea, which was wonderful too, was rather than have the signage, originally we had thought of a signage, put a sign in the Junction Park. His idea was much better. Don't put a sign in Junction Park. Put smaller signs on existing signposts indicating that you're heading towards the junction on the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail signs that are already there. So you have to order. Let's first get these 4 signs up, and then his idea. He has really good ideas for where we could put 2 smaller signs on the rail trail just before you get to Junction Park. Much better idea. So he was all into this, and he said that they would also, apparently, sometimes you have to make sure there's not any dangerous underground lines or anything. I forget what the term is, Marcia, to make sure it's safe to have the sign there.
Right.
And they will take care of all that.
Right.
He's totally into it. He gets it. It was wonderful. And he really wants to work with us more. So anyway, I don't mean to go on, but it was very exciting working with him. And everything's been updated. I will send everyone, and Marcia, I'll send you this link again. It's the original link on the Google Doc.
But Anne, without having this information, I was unable to put together the presentation for the select board. I need this in order to go to the select board. And so until I get this, I can't do anything. So please make sure I get it.
I'll send it to you right now.
Yeah.
And I'll send it to everyone else on the committee. And because I think he was very excited and he totally supports us, and that's what we need. And I think, and he wants to work with us in the future. He really gets signage. He really gets roads. He'd be perfect for everything we want to do. So he's great.
Okay, anything else that we
I'll
need
forward
to take
this to
action
you
on
now.
besides sending it around? Any other actions? And can you just make sure to follow up on the 2 little signs after the fact?
And I'll follow up with that. Let's get these 4 up, and then the little signs, I will follow up with that in the next meeting, by the next meeting. And I'll also talk to the cultural commission about the smaller size signs we can get, but let's get these 4 are all sitting there in the planning office. Let's get them up. And we have in a public works, perfect. And he's ready to put them up right now as soon as the BOS approves it.
Okay. All right, let's go back to finish up the meeting minutes, October.
All right. Let's see, hold on, let me get them first.
As you're doing that, Susan, like,
Yeah.
you may or may not like this suggestion, but when I take minutes, I do it live, and it's harder to focus on. I guess it's harder to contribute to the meeting, but at least then you don't have a task to go back and do it after the fact.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to take them live. In some cases, I just like wasn't prepared the night that I took them, and I feel like
Right.
now I can be more prepared. Let me just find October. Here we go. Okay, open. I'll reshare. Okay. October. Let's see. The folks who are present are everyone here today, pretty much our exact group, I think. I didn't note any members of the public at our October 3rd meeting, but let me know if you remember differently. Let's see. We talked, oh yeah, so I was on a phone as opposed to in front of my screen. But anyway, so we were talking a bit about the minutes, and we are now covering the minutes. Let's see, we spoke about, again, the initiative tracker and went through these different items. Painted crosswalk concept has been backburnered, kind of in favor of Anne working on the cultural district signs. Ride Out Park, I mentioned that I attended a rec commission meeting. We pretty much closed out that initiative related to Ride Out. Giroux, the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail extension and wayfinding signage. There's a bit of a background shared on the origin of the Giroux property, so everyone knows where it is. I have not found out what the status is from the rec department, but I did commit to do that, so I will look into that. Assabet River Bridge and Trail meeting. I think Barbara volunteered for the Trails Committee. And let's see. Barbara, did you tell me something about that I shouldn't be ascribing this comment to you here about looking for money for the design phase? I know I received some updates from you.
Yeah, I think that was more what Marcia told us, sort of where things stood at this point. Marcia, do you remember? I don't have that much detail, so I don't think it was me. But I would agree with Marcia that you probably can make the minutes much more succinct, maybe 2 or 3 sentences per topic.
Yeah,
and that'll make it much easier on you. And you don't need to attribute who said what, just a general sense of what's gone on.
Okay. All right, so what I can do is like consolidate this. I mean, it is true that you volunteered for the Trails Committee, right?
Yes, yes.
All right, so what I'll do is
I've gotten emails from them. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to just take this out. Oops.
We have all the money we need for the design. It's really the construction and things that might not be included in the state funding for the design, for the construction.
Okay, so should I make a note that this is, the TIP is a program that would fund construction?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Let's see, complete streets. We were talking again about our slides and other ideas related to our slide deck and the speed limit issue came up. I did look into that a little bit for this meeting, but still need to reach out to the Transportation Advisory Committee to partner on that. Let's see, Marcia had presented the cultural district signs. And we talked about needing more signs, which it sounds like that is well on its way to being a reality, to have more than 4 signs. And Anne is the liaison with the Transportation Advisory Committee. Yeah, okay. Talked about new membership, liaison assignments. Laura is liaising for the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail. Everything else is as we had planned. And then the planning board, I believe the assignments, we need to have some sort of like sign up sheet or something. John said he would put one together. Okay. And Sue told us to get the minutes done, which I think we're well on our way to having done. Yay. This is such a boring part of the meeting, but anyway.
Yay!
We can get it out of the way. Anyone else have things to add from our last meeting in October?
All right, so I'll move to approve the October minutes as they are presented here.
Second,
All those in favor?
I,
aye.
Aye.
Unanimously accepted. So we're up to date on the minutes. So I'll share my screen. You guys see that?
Mhm.
Cool, so we did that. Any housekeeping items? One thing that I was thinking about was under, now that we have this initiative tracker, actually 2 comments. I noticed Barbara in like, I think it was the August minutes suggested we add the ENS gas station in the initiative tracker. We could add that for the next time. And then I was thinking maybe we should also gather outstanding action items under these. For going forward now that they're a bit more organized. Any other housekeeping items? Okay, membership. Does anybody have comments on membership outreach? There were some ideas thrown around about potential members. Having a couple more would help just with bandwidth on some of these things.
Well,
anybody
I can post something on Nextdoor. I know I saw something from you, John, on any updates on the Assabet Bridge. I'm happy to post something there, just looking for other people.
Yeah,
That's
that's
not hard. I think that may have been when I first saw something.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. Thanks, Barbara. And it was about my post was about the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail Extension Bridge, by the way. All right, initiative tracker. So we talked about signage. We are limited here on time, so I want to see if there's anything here that's higher priority. I think Anne dropped off, so we won't talk about painted crosswalks. On complete streets, I don't think we've had any update from Steve. So I guess we're just assuming that it's as he described it last time he was on. Beyond complete streets, this is like the slides that we had all circulated. Any comments on this? I think that we had discussed like grant funding for the triangle improvements. I don't think we have any action items open on that, unless I'm mistaken.
Something that kind of falls under that is this whole question about the speed limits, and I got a chance to just research it a bit online. But basically, there's a mechanism under state law by which you can apply to make speed limit changes, but the streets that are involved in our cultural district might be treated in two different ways. Like I think Route 62 is a state, it's a state road. And so the requirements for changing that may differ from the requirements for changing the speed limit on Commonwealth Ave. In reading the law, I just kind of came to that realization. But if you want to get the speed limit in a densely populated area down to 20 miles an hour, it requires a traffic study. It's a bit easier to get it down to 25 miles an hour, but if you want to go to 20, you need to do a traffic study, and that would be enabled by the police. And I think there's a procedure for that. And then you have to make sure that the town's government approves it. And I do believe that it goes all the way to the state level. So I'm still digging into it, but I guess I just wanted to let everyone know that there is a bit of complexity involved, especially if we wanted to go down to 20 miles an hour.
Concord has a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit town-wide, except where otherwise posted. So were we trying to change that somehow?
I think so, yeah, especially in West Concord Junction, like that, the area with the shops and restaurants, and I guess approaching it from that Assabet River Bridge, and also coming into the junction from Com Ave off of the rotary by MCI. So I think we were thinking that we could possibly change it.
So
There's
what's it?
also-
But
Yeah.
but the speed limit is already just 20 miles an hour in the village center. So are
Right.
you thinking about extending it beyond the village center?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that was,
Okay, that,
I thought there was also some inconsistency in the signage coming off of the Route 2 circle.
yeah,
When Amy Kaiser was talking about this, she said there was a lot of inconsistency around there.
yeah, it's 30 miles an hour there.
Okay, how about for this, why don't we regroup on B at the next meeting, and we can start to like establish some goals, and maybe we can screen share that slide presentation we had made, and as the Complete Streets is starting to finish up, we can start to think about what we can be doing for this next initiative.
Sounds good.
All right, 13B. Susan, do you want to take this, or do you want me to take it?
Why don't you take it, and I'll add anything that for whatever reason you don't mention, but yeah, I think you took great notes today.
and from a public information perspective, you really should say 13B Commonwealth Ave in the future when you're putting
Okay.
an agenda together, because the public doesn't know what 13B means. So just in
Okay.
the future.
Okay, we'll do that. Yeah, so we were just kind of curious about what was holding up this 13B Ave project. And so we started to do a little bit of research, and Sue had made a few comments on the last meeting, and then we reached out to Patrick Cleary, who's the developer of the site, and had a meeting with him and just gathered some information and viewpoints. And we're just trying to see if there's a way to facilitate the project moving forward. Susan and I had a follow-up conversation with a former planning board member, Burton. What is his last name, Susan?
Good question. I can't remember.
Flint,
Flint,
Flint, that's
okay.
right. He had a lot of good insights, but he suggested that we also talk to Elizabeth Hughes next to get some feasibility on whether or not like those are good ideas, or if the process could even be moved forward. So that's our next step. And then I anticipate after gathering that information to kind of sort of report back to Patrick and just kind of give him our take, with the goal of, I think there had been pretty broad consensus after all the iterations he had done on the design and architectural sort of feedback that we had given him, that there was like pretty good support for the project. And so the sense that we had was that it would that it would be beneficial to see if we could figure out a way to make it go forward, at least in the spirit of the project that he had presented. And there are details that are holding it up about the economics of the proposal in light of various zoning bylaws, but also just the state of the construction costs as they are today. So maybe we'll provide another update at the next meeting, Susan, if we can have
Yeah.
a few more discussions between now and then. Comments or questions?
So the
Yeah,
main
also-
oh, sorry,
Yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
was
I should, yeah, you go. Mine is a little bit less related, so you go.
I was just gonna say, so the main obstacles are economic in that the cost of the construction project due to inflation and construction costs, as well as adhering to zoning bylaws, make it not, you know, not affordable, but maybe not profitable for this
Yeah.
company.
There's a few things. There's like a couple of snafus. One is in the I guess they actually end up being linked. So there's a certain number of parking spots, and you need a certain number of parking spaces per unit by law. And so that limits the number of units. And then based on the number of units, you have I think he's got 8 units in there. And on the affordable housing rules, you need a certain percentage of affordable housing, and it's sort of 8's an awkward number because you end up rounding up and having 2 out of the 8 units having to be affordable housing, and just the economics start to stop working, especially given the way that construction costs are now. So we're trying to, and there seem to be some potential steps that you could take. There's a trust that has been established since then that provides for a mechanism for, I understand it to be a one-time payment into the trust in lieu of like building the partial unit, I think is how I understand it, or built like rounding up, I guess, in the rule. And then there's also in theory, the ability to relax the parking requirement, restrict the parking requirement, but he already has some of that already in play. So I think that what we have to understand is if there's anything that's possible that we could suggest back to him.
And are these Concord regulations or are these state regulations?
Concord. He received a special permit for the property, for redeveloping the property, and the affordable housing components are part of the development scenario that he got his special permit under.
I see.
Okay, so that's 13 Become Ave. And anybody have comments on number F there, letter F?
I do.
All right.
Giroux Park is on hold. The contractor and the town are discussing aspects of the contract right now. There was no escalator clause. The contract was signed, as COVID was just getting started. Materials, construction, there are a lot of issues out there. So the project is basically on hold. The Bruce Frumin Rail Trail Frumin Rail Trail project with the bridge over Route 2 has been completed on the Concord side, has not been completed on the Acton side. Still waiting for materials to be delivered to screen the police horse barn. So the deadline or the completion date will be extended from November to May of 2023. And then for the wayfinding signage, we have reduced the scope of that project. There will only be 2 signs installed, one at Giroux Park and one just over the Neshoba Brook Bridge to direct people to the post office and the train station and so forth. We could not come to agreement on what the map should look like, and it wasn't consistent with other maps that we had of the area. So I'm going to work with the West Concord Junction Cultural District on the map piece that will then be on the wayfinding board over on Main Street at the intersection of Main Street and Commonwealth Ave. And that's what I have for those three.
What's an escalator clause, Marcia?
When you, with certain contracts or with construction contracts, if something isn't completed within a time period or there are, if you have it over a period of time, sometimes you can put in an additional funding. So if something is where costs might be going up as they have due to supply chain and fuel issues, utility issues. There was nothing in that to allow for renegotiating some of the contract elements.
Got it. Comments or questions beyond those? Anybody have comments on G? So we'll add we'll add the ENS gas station based on the reminder we got from the minutes just now on Barbara's suggestion for that. And I also take it that there is some activity there. There's like been a proposal that was sort of outright rejected. And I understand that it was, they basically said you didn't look at the West Concord advisory or the West Concord design guidelines. So that's like our design guidelines working. That's great, right? But it would be nice to have something there, so that'd be great. Something got put in. Liaison updates. We only have 6 minutes. We're gonna end on time, so Anne's not on. Laura, did you have anything on 2?
I don't have anything, but I have a question. So I couldn't make the last meeting. I had a clinical kind of issue that came up, and then next meeting I'm not going to be available in that evening either. So what happens in that case?
Laura, what I could do is send you my update to the committee, and you could report on that at least.
If I'm not going to be able to be at the meeting?
You can't be at the November 10th meeting. That's the next meeting date.
Okay.
So,
Oh, I see. You send me the updates from that meeting for this meeting? Sorry.
I also staff the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail Advisory Committee, and I prepare a monthly update so that you would at least have that much to report back to this group if you needed to.
Oh, okay. Okay, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Did you join the economic vitality meeting today, Laura? I didn't.
No, and I signed up for the links, but I didn't get one.
They did not meet today. They are looking at November 16th at 8:30 in the morning.
Okay.
Oh, goodness. That's a bad time for me. But yeah.
All right, and Susan, did you have anything on Parks and Rec?
No, nothing new.
Barbara on trails.
No, same way that I just got notification of the meeting, which was last Tuesday at 8 a.m. in person, when I couldn't get to it. So I'll have to also get information. I have a quick question really for Marcia.
Okay.
Is it my understanding that with the Junction Village having been killed, that also kills the proposed trail on that piece of property?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
This is the Thoreau Junction.
No, Junction Village, the Christopher Heights of Assisted Living Project. The developer has pulled the plug on the project. He will not be moving forward. Again, supply chain, construction costs have risen dramatically since the start of COVID. What was going to be a $17 million project had escalated to 28 million. He was prepared to go back to the state to request additional funding. The state would not even entertain an application without the town also kicking in additional funding. And the select board refused to take a vote on whether to support the project. We had our Concord Municipal Affordable Housing Trust willing to provide the $1 million toward the project, but the select board refused to even vote to support the project. So rather than fight a battle that where he's not go where he's not wanted, he's decided to seek other avenues and go somewhere else. So that project, that property is owned by the Concord Housing Development Corporation. They may go back to the starting gate and re-examine how to develop that property for affordable housing. It has to be 100% affordable. It is limited to affordable housing and open space. There will be something that goes in there at some point in the future, but not in the near future.
Okay. Does everybody know what property that is? What she's talking about?
It is 16 acres located at the end of, oh shoot, now the name's gone.
Winthrop Street.
Off of end of Winthrop Street, little short street right off of Commonwealth.
Right.
Adjacent to the back of the prison, and then it abuts the Assabet River. I spent 11 years on CHDC. Martha did a lovely, very tactful analysis of what has gone on, but I had a very sad week when I read this whole project had been killed. So the trail would have been beautiful, also along the river, etc. And hopefully in another 10 years, when they are able to come up with a different project, it will also include a beautiful trail.
Yeah, look.
I'm not being quite so tactful.
Yeah, it looked like it was gonna be nice. All right, I did send around the table for the planning board time slots. So if you didn't get that, let me know. If you did, make sure you filled it out and put it on your calendar. And then, so who had actually attended? Did somebody attend the last planning board meeting? Take that as a no. We're out of time anyway. It's 8 o'clock. I'm gonna move to adjourn.
I second.
We spent a lot of time on meeting minutes, but that's okay. Sorry, Sue, did you have any more public comment? We can go over. Okay. All right, so I'll move again to adjourn.
Second.
Any opposed? Thank you. Have a good
All
night.
in favor.
Aye.
Hi, John, everybody else.
Good night.